A lot of beginners, due to lack of confidence, significantly complicate their game by playing a quite obvious shot in wrong way. So in this video, I'm gonna reveal a secret presenting 5 common shots that most beginners play wrong and explain how to play them properly. I know it may sound strange, but confidence can be a powerful weapon, and I'm gonna clear up all your doubts later on. But first, let's look at this situation where we have ball in hand and we need to make positioning from 8 ball to the 9 ball, which is located on the foot spot. And well, I can't explain why, but I have seen it many times where players try to draw the cue ball back without touching rails to create position on the left or right side of the table. In most cases, these options generate high risk that we are losing this positioning because of very low speed control. And I'm pretty sure that most of the more experienced players know exactly what they would do in this situation, because they will leave a slight angle to the 8 ball towards side rail to draw the cue ball back again, but this time using one rail. This is pretty nice option which offers you safe path and very high speed control, so we should always land in quite wide position area. But you should definitely avoid leaving much more angle to the 8 ball and 2 rail positioning to leave the cue ball on the left side of the table. Once again, less experienced players may have a big problem to correctly judge this shot and simply lose a comfortable position to the 9 ball. And this is the moment where I have to reveal the best solution to this situation, which may surprise many players. If you need to make position to the right side of the table, then just put the cue ball behind the 8 ball and pocket it into the bottom right corner. Using topspin and very low speed, we can very easily control speed of this shot and land in comfortable area. But on the other hand, if you need to land on the left side of the table, then put the cue ball between 8 ball and side rail and pocket it into the left side pocket. During this attempt, once again we use topspin, and it is highly necessary to make a contact with side rail behind or before side pocket, because then we can much better control speed of this shot and land with comfortable position to the 9 ball. The next situation is very interesting, and that's funny because I have played that shot wrong many times. We need to cut 8 ball into the side pocket, and the biggest problem is fact that the natural angle guides the cue ball towards bottom left corner. So in this case, we need to use spin to manipulate cue ball's path, and I'm sure that in most cases some players will try to use just bit of backspin and one rail positioning. This option looks not bad, but it might be quite tricky to achieve comfortable position to the 9 ball, because we can land too low or too high, what highly increases difficulty of next shot. On the other hand, some players will try to go around the 9 ball applying low left spin to land on the right side of the table, but once again there is risk that we can misjudge this shot and land too high with quite tricky position to the 9 ball. But don't worry, there is option which solves all these problems, because we need to play 8 ball slightly thinner to avoid scratch and apply just bit of right spin. Rolling with natural speed, cue ball hits side rail first, and right spin changes its natural path on the second rail, resulting with perfect path and pretty good position to the 9 ball. And trust me, this is safest option where we experience very high speed control, because it is almost impossible to lose position to the 9 ball. Alright, moving on. The next shot is a great example that sometimes making a harder decision turns out to be the key to increasing your confidence. Many pool players make a surprising and completely unnecessary mistake in a situation like this. 9 ball is once again on foot spot, but we face quite tricky shot on 8-ball. In this particular case, I'm almost sure, and I have seen pool players many times who tried to cut 8-ball into the left side pocket and guide the cue ball to the left or right side of the table. And you will be completely surprised, but please, don't do it like this. We face quite thin cut shot, and it might be difficult to find comfortable path and land with good position to the 9-ball. Additionally, due to very high angle, we are exposed to the effect of cut-induced throw, so we can aim this ball correctly, but cue ball slightly pushes the 8-ball to the outside, so in some cases we can just miss this ball. So in this case, we need to change our mindset and play 8-ball into the top left corner, and actually we have two options of positioning. First option requires from us to just pot the 8-ball and make a contact with side rail before the side pocket to land on the left side with perfect position to the 9-ball. However, some players may have a problem with executing this type of shot because they don't feel comfortable what result with too thick contact and leaving easy 8-ball to our opponents. So, as I said at the beginning of this video, we need to build more confident stroke by hitting the cue ball much harder and applying a bit of low left spin. During this attempt, we are using 3 rails and going around the 9-ball to land on the right side of the table. I know that initially it might be quite uncomfortable shot, but in this particular case, this is a solution which gives you quite high benefit, especially when you are nervous. So remember, sometimes being more confident means taking more risk.
Watch the cue ball. Watch the cue ball. What a shot that is.
Tip number 4 is based on a mistake that a lot of beginners make, and honestly, this can be such a headache. 8-ball is placed very close to the corner pocket, but we experience quite high angle and relatively long distance shot. And once again, I don't know why, but many players desperately want to stay in bottom half of the table by hitting the cue ball with very low speed and a lot of left spin. Please, don't do it like this. If you try to slow roll the cue ball with a lot of side spin, then believe me, you will hit 8-ball too thick in most cases. Even if you manage to pocket the 8-ball, cue ball going very high and we are not able to create comfortable path to the 9-ball. And actually, this situation would be completely different if the distance between the balls was much smaller. Then it is much easier to control cue ball's path and it is possible to go immediately towards pretty good area. And once again, I will reveal a little secret to help you play this shot properly. First of all, we can leave the cue ball in top half of the table to play 9-ball into the bottom right corner, but it might be still quite tricky to avoid landing too high or scratch in top right corner. Second option gives us much safer path, but this time we need to go up and down to land in bottom half of the table. And this shot is much better option because we use more confident stroke, but we still may have a big problem to control speed of the shot and land with enough comfortable position to the 9-ball. And finally, here is a solution that turns out to be our best choice, and all what we need is to hit the cue ball with tiny bit of right spin and use medium speed. During this attempt, cue ball touches 3 rails and going along a very safe path. Of course, there is some risk of scratch in the side pocket, but trust me that this solution guarantees you very solid hit with a lot of confidence, so the next time you face this type of shot, don't be afraid and be more confident. Alright, And now let's move on to our next tricky shot, which still most players play in a tragic way. We face extremely deep pocket hanger, where cue ball is in the center area of the table and 9-ball is located very close to top rail. And the biggest mistake that many players make is hitting the cue ball very hard, with a lot of topspin. Because 8-ball is extremely close to the pocket, then cue ball, which rotates with a lot of forward rotation, has not enough time to change this rotation for speed. During executing pocket hangers, very important is to hit this ball thinner, but if we look closer, then we can see that it is not that easy ball as we expected. 8-ball is located extremely close to one side of the pocket, what significantly increases difficulty of that shot. If we try to play this ball much thinner, then cue ball immediately hits jaw of the pocket, what causes it to stay in bottom half of the table. The situation will be completely different if we move 8-ball closer towards center of the pocket, because then we can very easily control the cue ball and make comfortable position to the 9-ball. In this particular case, we are not even able to hit the object ball very full and go around the table using 3 rails. Deep and smooth draw shot directly towards intended area is also very low percentage shot, because we do not see 8-ball enough to make fuller contact. So in this particular case, we need to use completely different option and hit side rail first, right before the corner pocket. With bit of running spin, we are able to guide the cue ball towards pretty good area, using 4 rails. We need to be very careful and calculate this contact precisely, because I have seen many players who made a contact with rail too early and missed the object ball. Extremely embarrassing, right? On the other hand, we can hit the object ball too thick, what may result with completely different angle of reflection, and we can stay in bottom half of the table or just scratch in side pocket. So in this case, the key in this shot is to make enough thin contact with 8-ball and apply correct speed to land in comfortable area. But if you want to learn more of how to execute tricky shots, you need to watch this video where I present 5 useful tricks, which will be helpful when you are in a really awkward situation.